This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3-hour program lined up today. Memorable betting moments from the 2025 season. We want your participation. Email is ftm@vsin.com, on X @vsin live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard. Do you concur? This hour, best and worst teams ATS. Got NFL, NBA, a little college basketball, hockey in there as well. NBA Cup games tonight. And today on the show, Sal Paolantonio in an hour. What a call last week. What's the problem with Philadelphia? The quarterback. Hurts goes out and has the worst game of his career. Mike Pullman studio. Mike Montesano, very good betting futures on the show. And Matt Humans, college football playoffs, NFL, and some bowl games with him as well. You ready for the NBA Cup tonight, Paulie?
Ready. It was good yesterday.
Yeah.
Good quotes from Mike Brown after the game, how the Knicks are peaking, and the Knicks are starting to, now that they're healthy, showing what they're made of, and a nice win. It's a good matchup out here against Orlando. I think they're laying too many points, but here we go now. And Booker is questionable. I would like to see two props on this OKC team, bookmakers. Hey, guys, Johnny Avello, if you're listening. Number one, will they lose a game the rest of the year? That's number one.
Okay, stop.
No. What? This year, not the whole season. Okay? And the other one, the other record no one's talking about, the 71-72 Lakers, who won 33 games in a row. I think everything is in play with this team that is second in games missed to injury and the third team ever to start 23-1. Their point differential is 16 points per game. They set the record last year at 12.9. It's insanity.
Well, that cements it. They're losing tonight. My plus 225 to win the cup is dead. They played Phoenix back on November 28th, not that long ago. They won by 4. Phoenix is a great story.
They are.
But, I mean, to your point, Oklahoma City has been an absolute wrecking ball to this point. And you look at some of their previous scores, Paulie, it really doesn't even matter who they play. I mean, that Golden State game was a great example. How they were crushing the Warriors. This goes back to December 2nd, so last week. They're crushing Golden State. The Warriors make a big run in the third quarter, and then they tie it up. And then what happens? Oklahoma City went on to cover the stupid game.
Yep.
I mean, they hit you with, usually it's one wave, and that could be like a 25-2 run, game's over with. If they need to, they're going to hit you with the second one, and that's the tidal wave, and then forget about it. It's over with.
Yep. Brian Windhorst has the numbers. 45-3 run at home, regular season. 80-11 last 91 regular season games. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty decent, I'd say.
So, like we talked about less than a month ago about, hey, watch out. Here comes this long winning streak, and they're so damn good, and the schedule's doable coming up. Who knows when the next loss happens? And certainly 33 in a row. Everyone talking about 74, which is plus 450. This is ridiculous what they're doing. And even the point differential, which was a record of 13, and they're down to 16. And then the defensive rating, which I can't get enough of, 104 points per 100 possessions. Houston's number 2 at 110. They're a cheat code right now, how good they are.
Do you have any interest in taking the 14.5 with Phoenix?
I would have to see what Booker's status is once we get the tip-off.
Yeah, super questionable there.
Right.
Jalen Green's also out for the Suns. He's been out pretty much the entire year. Isaiah Joe and Isaiah Hartenstein, both out for Oklahoma City. So I have a couple of bets on this game. I am going to attack it with Aaron Wiggins, who in his last game out, it was Sunday against Utah. They won by 30. He played 20 minutes. He had 19 points, and he hit 5 threes. I bet him 10-plus points tonight, and I have over 1.5 threes at plus money and a smaller bet on over 2.5 threes at plus 340 in the game. If it does, I mean, the point spread, any game that they play in could turn into a rout. And then so I want to attack it with the guys, that are going to get maybe 20 minutes off the bench, and they're going to be there in garbage time, but they're going to get plenty of shots up, and they're going to keep shooting from downtown. And with no Isaiah Joe, the guy to me tonight has to be Aaron Wiggins. So he's capable of, I mean, there was a game earlier this year, and in fact, the one loss against Portland, when they had guys out, that was a back-to-back. He had 27 in that game. So he can fill it up whenever he gets a decent amount of playing time. So hopefully that's going to be the case in this spot tonight. Now, some numbers at VSiN.com, courtesy of the great Steve Makinen. NBA teams playing at home in the 2 days rest scenario were 13-2 over the total versus teams in a third game in 8+ days last season. That applies for this game tonight. And NBA teams playing at home again in the third game in 8+ days, 43-16 straight up, 35-21 ATS against teams in their fourth straight road game over the last 4 years. That's also in this game tonight. Have you done anything here props wise or?
Yeah, LeBron points under.
Oh, that game, okay.
And also the over in the game with the Lakers and the Spurs. No Wemby. It was great to see the King go off against the Sixers. I, like most people, wondered, is it over? After he was 4 of 17 against the Raptors, and he's had some bad performances, and he was so good in the win against Philly and hit some clutch shots, and they needed him because Reeves was awful in that game. But now he's the third banana here, and maybe even fourth banana, as the acquisition of Ayton has been so great, and a great solid roster, and the job Redick's doing. 8-0 in clutch games as well. So they're winning all the tight ones.
Yeah.
But without Wemby, and you saw how they struggled defensively against the Pelicans, blew that huge lead, and were lucky to hang on. I think this is big for the Lakers, and I think they get the win and it goes over. But another reason why I like the over the Lakers, top 7 in offense, 20th in defense. But so many guys that can score, and I think we expect some fireworks tonight. And what the league wants, Lakers out here Saturday night.
So no concern about that super high total there, 241.5, and how the games were played last night in the East. Both games went under, and those had more of like a playoff-type feel. Yeah, and these games are meaningful to the teams. Yeah. I was going to say, I think last night was a night to bet unders. And tonight, I mean, I know it's 241.5. Maybe it turns into the same style, and it's like 113 to 108 at the end of it. I don't know. Like you, I think maybe in play would be the way to go. Yeah. Because the Lakers we'll have more on this a little bit later on when we do the best and worst teams in all these sports, ATS and to the overs and unders. They're on this incredible run the entire year. But not just that, their team totals go flying over in some of these games.
That's right.
In a lot of the games, actually.
Right. So you got Luka and Reeves and how great they've played. And it was, tough figuring out LeBron coming back in and how would he fit in as well. And it was a little wonky to begin with, but certainly they needed him, and he was great in the Philadelphia win when other guys had off games. But Ayton continues to get it done. Hachimura hit the big 3 against Toronto. So far, so good here. And I hope we get that matchup against the Thunder coming up Saturday night. And that's the one thing, too, I like our bets on the Thunder. What didn't they do last year? They didn't win the Cup. They came out here and they got humiliated by Milwaukee.
That's right.
I should have seen it coming because it's a young team that had 3 days to kill in Las Vegas. What could go wrong?
Do you have any interest in Reeves' points, rebounds, and assists tonight? 32.5 is the number.
I do.
Yeah, I think that would be one way to attack it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. With no Wemby in the game tonight, I think we're going to get a fast pace, and a lot of these guys are probably going to end up going over. The same game parlays in this game could be huge. So I think it's going to be a fun night tonight, though.
Yeah, and Saturday's shaping up to be really strong.
Yeah, really good.
If you get Knicks Magic, and then if you could get Lakers Thunder, that's great for the city.
I got to tell you, I mean, we were on the air to begin that Heat Magic game yesterday, and the Heat could not miss. What was it, like 15-0, 18 to whatever it was?
Yep.
And that number expanded all the way up to like 7.5. That was a great comeback by the Magic. But again, the lesson there is that all these teams in the NBA, mostly, I should say, at some point in a 48-minute game, they're going to make a run. And that's exactly, Orlando almost had the lead at halftime. Yep. And Bane was great. Mm-hmm. So I think that is a pretty good matchup, even though there's no Franz Wagner in the game for Orlando. Still a solid team, obviously. And against the Knicks, that's a good one. I don't think the league can go wrong if they do get Wemby back and it's Spurs Thunder. But the nuts matchup is what you said, Thunder and the Lakers.
Yes. Didn't go well the first time, but I'm sure they'll come out and give them a better performance. And the other thing that was going on when we got off the air was Michigan was kicking ass and taking names again. This is, you would call a run like this?
This is to begin a year? Paul, they covered the number for the game in the first half.
Going back, 86-61. They beat the Aztecs by 40 and dropped 94. They beat Auburn by 30 and scored 102. They beat Gonzaga by 40 and scored 101. They beat Rutgers by 41, scored 101, and beat Villanova, who came into the game 7-1, 89-61. It wasn't that close.
No, they could have. If they wanted to, the game could have been like 105 to 70 again last night. They're down. This is at DraftKings. They're plus 475. They're the short shot with a bullet. The Westgate moved them to like plus 350 yesterday. And they were just like, we know what's going to happen. If we keep them up at 10-1, every person in the world is going to bet them.
Yeah.
So they got ahead of it right away.
Yeah.
There's that. And then also the Pete Alonso signing today by Baltimore.
Oh, Mets fans.
What are the Mets doing?
You let Diaz go, you let Alonso go, and you give Devin Williams $50 million. You lost the offseason already.
No kidding.
What are you doing?
But from Baltimore's standpoint, I think the offense is fine. Don't they have to go out there and get like
pitching.
At least one or two guys in the rotation this year?
Yeah.
But what a signing that is for Baltimore. That offense is going to be scary, and then most of those young guys are going to develop. But Mets fans got to be throwing their hands up like, oh, wait, what?
Absolutely. It isn't supposed to happen to you. They're supposed to spend the money and not give it to Devin Williams.
How does that conversation go with Diaz when they offered him 3 for $66, and then he signs 3 for $69 with the Dodgers?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have said, if you are going to get more money, tell us, because we'll up the ante here. We don't want to lose, especially to the Dodgers. No way.
I'd be pissed if I'm a Met fan.
Yeah. A game last night almost made every year-end list of worst beats in any sport for the calendar year. I'll tell you which game, and we'll ask you for most memorable betting moments of the year coming up next.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network. This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Hey everybody, Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN By the Books with my man Dave Ross. Tune in tomorrow as we'll preview the Thursday night football matchup between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. We'll also share our full list of Week 15 NFL ATS leans and so much more. As always, joined by a stacked guest list that includes Greg Hoops Peterson, the Maestro, Mike Palm, and UFC picks from Jordan Sherwood. It's VSiN By the Books, Thursday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So here's the game last night. It was Clemson BYU in college basketball. Overnight number had BYU an 8-point favorite. They were bet all the way down to 4.5-point favorites. Clemson hit BYU with a 21-0 run to end the first half. They led 43-22. Then it was all BYU in the second half. BYU led by, they took a 6-point lead, Paulie, with a couple minutes left, give or take. They were on the verge of covering every imaginable number. And then Clemson closes with a couple of threes. They tie it up, and you're like, oh, good Lord, please do not go to overtime. If I go to overtime with Clemson plus 6, 6.5, 7, 8 in my pocket, and they lose, you never want the dog in overtime. But you got bailed out. Clemson bettors did because BYU hit a 3 at the buzzer to win.
Yep.
That is, we're talking, whew, boy.
Yep.
That's a rough one right there.
How about the Penguins game? Penguins and under. The Ducks scored with 0.2 of a second left, shorthanded, and the faceoff was in their own zone. That's impossible.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And they win in a shootout as Pittsburgh gave that up. And that was incredible.
And 4 games in the NHL last night had a goal scored in the final 15 seconds. Okie dokie.
First time in history, yes.
So we're putting together here the entire network. We're going to compile a list of the most memorable betting moments of the 2025 year. We would love to hear from you as well. The email is ftm@vsin.com, on X, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard. I have a couple here. I know that yours is more recent, but this can be anything, by the way. It could be a player prop. It could be a survivor loss that you had. It could be just a horrific beat. But your survivor, when you lost 5 on Arizona this year, is as bad as it gets.
Yep. Survivor, moneyline parlays, teasers, spread, all of it. I mean, that's going to be an 18-point lead with 10 minutes left. And then all hell breaks loose in Tennessee, who's been so bad offensively and was so bad in that game, found life, and then they couldn't be stopped. Gannon goes conservative. You know what happens with the walk-off field goal. It's just, it was sick what transpired in that game. But DeMarcado, that has to be up there. How about what happened Sunday? I had the under. Pete Carroll's explanation was just bizarre afterwards. Well, we want to kick the field goal, try onside, and then go for a help. There's 5 seconds left prior to the field goal. What are you talking about? There was no reason to do that, not to mention the penalty on the Denver player, but there was just no reason for Carroll to kick that with 4 seconds left to put it on 7. That was also lunacy.
I got to tell you, we could probably, during the summer months, I'm guessing a baseball game could make the list like once a week.
No doubt. But
are they that memorable? That's the only thing. Because there are so many baseball games played every day and every year. Like, are you going to bring up a game from May? Oh, my God, the Guardians led 9-4 going to the 9th, and they lost the game. Like, who remembers?
That's a regular occurrence. Also, like 6-0 in the second. You can't cover first 5.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some that came to mind for me. How about the 2025 French Open on the men's side?
Good one.
For those who don't recall, it was Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, and Alcaraz trailed 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, and 3-5 in the 4th set. Love 40 on serve in the 4th set. That is triple championship point for Sinner. His in-play odds were minus 50,000 at DraftKings. That equates to 99.8%. DraftKings listed Alcaraz at 65-1 to come back and win with their live betting odds. The match lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes, the longest French Open final on the men's side in the Open era, second longest Grand Slam final ever on the men's side. You want to talk about one of the biggest win probabilities in any sport and lose the match or the game or the event. There's your example.
Good call. Absolutely horrific.
I remember I watched the whole thing live, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me here. And I never thought until later on, I never looked at like 65-1 and said, hey, here, I'm going to bet Alcaraz right now. How many people actually did.
Yep. And I know what just happened, but also I think you have to put the World Series in there. If you had futures on the Blue Jays, or Blue Jays just to win the World Series or Game 7.
I think so, too.
It's 4-2 in the 8th. The thing's over. How does Pages make that catch? And then it's 4-3 in the 9th, 1 out, nobody on, and Rojas. A guy with no punch goes deep to tie it up and you blow it. Horrible. Yep. He had Blue Jay futures.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the most epic World Series we've ever watched. Here's one that I was involved in. You go back to last March. They put on, Mike Palm, Derek Stevens put on these tournaments, blackjack tournaments, a handful of times throughout the year. They did one for March Madness. And it depends on where you finish in the blackjack tournament over 3 days. You're then going to be picking in that order based on your chip count to get a team to win the national title. I finished with the second most chips in the blackjack tournament. The person who finished ahead of me picked Duke. I was number 2. I took Florida. I will remind you that throughout the tournament, the Florida Gators in the second round trailed UConn 55-51 under 7 to play. They trailed with under 3 minutes to play. In the Elite 8 game, Florida trailed Texas Tech by 10 under 8 minutes, by 10 under 7 minutes. They trailed by 10 with 5:30 left and by 9 with 3 minutes left. They came back, somehow rallied furiously, and they won the game. Final four, they trailed Auburn by 9 right before halftime and again early second half. And in the national title game, Florida took a 2-0 lead. They trailed 2-0. They eventually took an 8-6 lead. They would never lead again in the first half. In fact, they were down by as many as 9. They trailed by 3 at halftime. The Cougars eventually got out to a 42-30 lead under 16 minutes to play. Houston either had the lead or the game was tied the entire time throughout until Florida hit 2 free throws with under a minute to play, and Houston scored 3 points over the final 4 minutes and change and lost. And again, I'm holding Florida, but how Houston got there also ties into how unbelievable this betting story was. In the Final Four, Duke led Houston 64-55 with just over 2 minutes to play. Duke only scored 8 minutes over the final 8+ minutes of the game. That's huge because Duke was a projected 5.5-point favorite over Florida in the national title game. So I hedged on Houston, but it made it that much more palatable because hedging on Duke at minus a huge number on the money line would have been, dangerous territory that we're talking about here. So everything fell Florida's way, and then as a result, kind of my way there to win that ticket.
Good one. Remember the McNeese-Clemson game? How did that go over?
The total.
Yes.
Yeah.
All-time bad
I think we were on the air for that one.
I think Clemson had 13 points in the first half. Something ridiculous. 31-13, something like that.
That's right.
And then it's just McNeese blows the lead, foul 3, foul layup, whatever. And then and the kid at a 3 at the buzzer, which impacted the total but not the game, and that somehow got over after that wretched start.
That, and it fell because it was a funny landing spot too, because there was line movement where the total went up, and then if you got the wrong number, you were going to be a loser with that one as well. Dr. Emmel on X says he had Philly -3 in money line when the Rams lined up for the game-winning field goal. Eagles got the block, returned it for a touchdown. Yep. And if I was on the Rams in that game, I know a ton of people were at the network were on LA in that game. Losing that ticket is it has to be the worst loss of my NFL season.
Yep. You could make the case Jacksonville against Davis Mills was worse too. Now if there were 1.5s out there, how it played out, there was a pick 6 on the final play of the game. They led by 19 in the fourth quarter?
I think it was, 28-9 or something like that.
29-10, something like that.
Okay, there you go.
Right, comes all the way back, and he has the rushing touchdown, and then the final play, defensive touchdown, and they win by 7. Crazy. 7 or 8. 8.
Yeah, and Jacksonville opened as a 1.5-point dog. They closed the favorite in that game.
Yes.
So imagine the people that were clinging to the 1.5 with dear life.
I don't want to hear about turnovers and yards, whatever. It's 29-10 in the fourth quarter, and I'm getting 1.5, and I can't cover that. I can't cash the ticket.
Yeah, there are so many examples. Again, ftm@vsin.com is the email. On X at VSiN Live at Mitch Moss Radio at Paulie Howard. I think you have to have the World Series on the list.
Yep.
Because I think they want between 50 and 100 different examples. And so because of how that played out, I mean, the Blue Jays had that series won 5 different times in that one game alone. So the holidays are back at Starbucks. Share the season with a peppermint mocha made with Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha, and cool peppermint notes topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate curls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks. I love coffee. Big fan of the holiday drinks they make over at Starbucks. I've had 2 coffees already today. I could easily go for another afternoon one.
Job.
Oh yeah. Well, how many sodas do you drink a day?
No comment. Too much.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of got that with the no comment.
Starbucks is awesome too.
And you
phenomenal operation. You go right in there, you get the bagel, you get the gift card, whatever. Bam, in and out. Awesome.
The service ranks right up there with the best in the entire country.
It is.
And as you've been doing for a long time, and I second this, awesome gift cards. Nobody's ever been mad to get a Starbucks gift card.
Can't go wrong, baby.
Yeah, Paulie is concerned about the NFL playoffs. Nobody is untouchable. Do you concur? Coming up next here on VSiN.
Got a good thing coming, so wait and see. It's a good.
Your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Great moments in history have begun with a question.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
And what kind of hair product does Mitch Moss use? But Follow the Money wants to know.
Do you concur? Concur with what, sir? Do you concur?
Do not change college football. Stay at 12. As Dan Wetzel from ESPN wrote, we used to argue about undefeated teams being left out, what they did to Georgia, what they did to Florida State. Now we're arguing about 2 and 3 loss teams at 12. It's okay. Stay at 12. Don't change. Do you concur?
I don't. Go to 8.
Wow, now that is an interesting
Make it better and
take.
go to 8. Because then I think the idea of saving the regular season applies a little bit more. If you want to expand, they have to do something they're never going to agree to, and that is you must get rid of the super conferences.
Yeah.
So, but that's never going to happen, so why even have that conversation? I would say if they go to 16, or my God, if they go to 24, then you're going to have to, I mean, every league's going to have to play 9 conference games, which we're going to get to anyway, I think starting next year. But you're going to have maybe only 1 non-conference game against a cupcake. I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to go out there, and if you're from the SEC, you need to travel to go play somebody out west, or travel to the Big 12, or Big 10 teams have to go south. They need to play tough non-conference schedules. You have to. And if they do that, I think 16 will be pretty decent. But I also...
This was a fluke also. Like if they want to go to 16, how many years are you going to have where, hey, you had Vandy had a case. Texas had some good wins, lost to Florida, but still had a pretty good team.
Right.
It's just, I think it was a fluke where you're going to be looking at 3 lost teams or teams that aren't that good.
Well, so what's the breaking point in your opinion? Because right now there hasn't been a good bubble in college basketball for a long time.
And they're going to expand that too.
Right. So we don't really care about teams 69, 70, 71, whatever. In college football, is it? If they go past 12, there's still going to be an argument. There was an argument this year. So if you go to 16, is there ever going to be an argument like, oh, this team deserved to be in? That set team number 17 and team number 18, great case, they need to be in. It seems a little bit unlikely.
You are running a pro sports team. Is the mantra, nobody is untouchable, correct? That's how you should operate and run it. Do you concur?
Oh, no, I don't. No. I think I know what you're saying here. I think nobody's untouchable is, I do not concur with that. You need to have a phone call about anybody.
Yes.
And the example would be, let's go back 2 years ago to the Angels.
They blew that.
Of course they did.
Yep.
How do you make that decision?
We had a source with the Angels that the Rays offered Glasnow and prospects for 2 months of Ohtani, and they said no. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Here's why I bring it up. Tigers president of baseball operations, Scott Harris, said, nobody's untouchable. I don't believe in it at any level, and that means we would take calls on Skubal.
Well, and the reports were, did you see the team that surfaced immediately?
I did not.
The Dodgers.
Okay.
Right? So, but if they gave up a good enough package, I think Detroit would obviously have to listen to that. I'll throw this back at you. If a team came at Denver for Nikola Jokic, would you listen?
You always have to listen. You always have to pick up the phone.
Just in case they say something absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. You're right. Okay. Netflix is underrated. They started everything. The streaming, looking to buy Warner Brothers. Knives Out 3 is Friday night. Christmas, you get a second installment of Stranger Things episodes with the doubleheader with the NFL. Do you concur?
I do concur. Remember when Netflix first started, you get like the discs in the mail. How quickly this evolved and changed. Yeah, they're an absolute machine. And I will say that as somebody with a 1.5-year-old now, their programming on Netflix for kids, babies, endless. Now the
game change.
It's just
the movies.
Oh, sure.
Look at this cast Friday.
I haven't even seen the trailer. I know nothing about it other than Daniel Craig has to be in it, right?
Yeah.
Now part 3 better be.
2 was okay.
2.
1 was very good.
I got to be honest. Part 2, my expectations were through the roof.
Yeah, that's
did
fair.
not live up to it.
Absolutely.
Part 1 is. I don't want to overreact here, and do you concur? But Part 1 is like one of the most rewatchable movies of the last, decade.
Yep. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to see a prop that they they don't lose a game the rest of the year, which that would put them at 25 straight wins. OKC, they've won 15 in a row. The record 33 in a row by the 71-72 Lakers. Third team in history to start 23-1 and a point differential of 16 points per game. They set the record last year with 12.9. As it stands today, they also would have 3 lottery picks. This is bad for the league. Do you concur?
Not at all. I think it's amazing for the league. I love watching it. I love greatness. Do you think the Warriors were bad for the league?
They were great for the league.
Did you think?
But I'm tying it into small market.
But they are a small market.
No.
So if
go ahead. I would argue the league would want this to happen with the Lakers, the Warriors,
of
the
course,
Celtics.
yes. You have a strange obsession with the Knicks, as we found out yesterday.
I loved it.
Right. So if this was happening with the Knicks and not Oklahoma City, you would love this and think it's great for the league. Right?
I wanted your thoughts on it, though, too.
No, I think this is amazing for the league. I think it's must-watch television. I mean, back in the 80s.
I'm saying, yes, I agree with you this year. But I'm saying, what if they win 3 in a row and they're untouchable?
Give it to me.
You really? Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
absolutely.
Enough. Fair enough.
I never was a fan growing up. I never, loved the 49ers. I never loved the Cowboys. Got to tell you, that was pretty good for the league. Yeah. Right, and they were. I do appreciate greatness, and how could I deny anything about those? And I'm the only person in the world who did not like the '90s Bulls. Only person in the world.
See, I couldn't get enough of them.
But I can admit that they were unbelievable for the league.
Yep, no doubt. For the first time in 10 to 15 years, I'm concerned about the NFL playoffs, especially in the AFC where the standings are upside down. Do you concur?
Yeah, I do a little bit here.
Are you ready for a Denver-Jacksonville AFC title game? It really would suck for props, and if one of these teams make the Super Bowl, for instance?
Are you ready for Arizona and Philadelphia from 2009 in the NFC title game?
No, I was
not.
What was
excited. That, the 4 and the 6 seed?
I was not excited about that.
But
we haven't had that, though. We have not had chaos for the Rams. I think were a 4 that one year.
Yeah, but they were really good.
No, I agree. But we haven't had chaos in a long, long time, and chalk has prevailed.
I think it could be happening this year for sure. Now my example there, the Arizona-Pittsburgh game turned out to be one of the best Super Bowls we've ever had. It was phenomenal, right? All the big plays. But I mean, you can convince me that we're going to get some shenanigans here, and how could I possibly argue with that?
Yep.
There's a chance we're going to have a team. And by the way, from a betting standpoint, oh my God, show me the tickets. What do you think Jacksonville was to win the AFC throughout the entire year, going back to the summertime?
Right. AFC standings: Denver the 1, New England the 2, Jacksonville the 3, Pittsburgh the 4. I mean, probably no Lamar Jackson, no Burrow, and no Mahomes in the playoffs.
How about what do you think the Texans were for any of this stuff when they started 0-3?
Yeah. We got a guest coming up who's got tickets coming out of his ears. If you've missed it the first time, good news. We're giving you one last chance to get an unforgettable Vegas weekend. Circa Resort and Casino. The first 100 new VSiN Pro annual subscribers who sign up using promo code Circa get a free 3-night stay. The 2nd through the 5th in a day bed at Stadium Swim for the final weekend of the regular season. 50% off the monthly price. Full year of VSiN Pro. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits. The AI-powered prop tools. The 24/7 video and every guide. Your last shot at the Circa getaway. VSiN.com/Circa. Promo code Circa. VSiN.com/Circa.
So we're getting your examples of most memorable betting moments of the entire year. This is a great submission from Irv, and I said, there are going to be so many random baseball games that you're not going to remember. Well, this one I do remember. How about before, he points out here in the email, before Yamamoto became a superstar, how do we forget his no-hitter in the 9th with 1 out in Baltimore? Four runs later, the Dodgers lost.
Great call.
Oh, that's an unbelievable recall by him.
Yep.
This is from Michael. He's got 2 for him personally, and this is a great national story anyway. Nico Horner, Cubs second baseman, to hit a home run the next game the Cubs played after Ryan Sandberg passed away. He got it at 30-1 on one of the betting exchanges. And the second baseman for the Cubs, Nico Horner, went yard.
All right.
Great story. And he also tailed Mike Somich here at VSiN, the superfecta in the Kentucky Derby. Biggest win of his life, $7,000. Great job, Michael. There you go. Pays to listen, pays to pay attention to the podcast, the entire network. And that was a big one for Somich back on the Derby. Yeah, that Yamamoto one's a great call.
Keep them coming. My memory is shot at this point, too.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You got to keep.
Yeah.
You got to keep a list, a tally, Microsoft Excel chart, or write them down in a notebook, old school style. Otherwise, there's no way you're going to go back and remember all those weird games from June and August that, like, yeah, remember that baseball game? No, I really don't. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Paul's going to detail last night's betting action with win some, lose some, including what needs to be considered a historic night in the National Hockey League. Find out what happened coming up next.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Knicks from 4 up to 6.5 in the under, 231 down to 225, 117 to 101. Magic Heat under 237 down to 235, 117, 108. Michigan 15 up to 18, pounded Villanova. West Virginia 21 up to 27.5, 90 to 58. Wyoming, South Dakota over, 155 up to 162, 106, 79. UConn 1.5 up to 4.5, 177 to 73. Also, historic night in the NHL. First time in history, 4 games were tied with less than 30 seconds and then went to overtime. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Luke, send this one to me, it's awesome. Number 1, a bully, A+, great looking dog. Number 2, he just can't get enough of the owner when he's driving and with the offhand. Can you get a little scratch here? Right? It's every time she stops rubbing his face, he grabs it, puts the paw out. Yeah, keep going. Come on, keep doing it. Look at him.
But I can't get enough of the colors on that dog.
That is awesome.
The mixture, the white paws.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking pooch, man.
Yeah. How smart. No, keep going.
Yeah, please.
Keep doing that. That's great. Lose some. Ball State, South Dakota State over. 138 up to 145. No good. And big steam on Kentucky. 36 up to 43.5. Also no good. One pick tweet from Eddie. Eddie was going to the grocery store. He followed this guy in. Come on. He took up 4 spots? Unprecedented. Come on, look at the truck.
No, there's precedent here.
You've seen that?
Oh, absolutely, I have.
4 spots he takes up?
Yep.
That's unbelievable. Oh, we're living in a society is right.
I would never resort to keying a car, but it makes you want to do weird, bad things to these people. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, and I don't recommend it, but you have that thought in your head for 2 seconds. You're like, God, this person. You deserve something really bad to happen.
The balls on this guy.
You've never seen that before?
Not 4.
Oh, yeah.
The 2, yes.
I've actually seen it worse than this.
How's that?
Well, because this guy actually maybe left a little bit of room there on what you're looking at on the left side with another parking spot. I've seen the person actually take up an equal share of all 4 parking spots. That's when you're like, okay, now this person's going to get a beating when he comes out of the store.
I've seen it with not 4 spots, but I've seen people park far away and take up 2 spots with a real nice car.
Yeah, that happens.
That's unbelievable.
My brother used to do that in high school because he had, my God, he had a candy apple red 69 Mustang with the fat tires in the back.
Yeah.
And it was back in the 80s, it was the best looking car you're ever going to find. And it was loud as hell, and it was just, it was mint, as we used to say, right? It was, and
choice.
And yeah, exactly right. So he would do that. And I was like, look, I don't blame you because it's going to be by far and away 10 times the best car that anybody's going to have in that high school. So
yep. For the line move, Sharp Play's already there. Oh, I forgot the bad beats. What's wrong with me? Horrible job by me. The bad beats in hockey, 2 of them. As I mentioned earlier, the Penguins and under. They led with 18 seconds left. Anaheim was shorthanded, and the faceoff was in their own zone. They tied it with 0.2 of a second, and McDavid scored with 2 seconds left to put the game over with the Oilers and the Sabres. Incredible night in the NHL. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books of full-time sharps on your own. With the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Advanced AI, proven insider sources active across all sports. Sharp Plays delivers the edge serious bettors rely on. Free reports, alerts, market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X feed since 2011. They've backed it up with documented results, public logs, transparent receipts. SharpPlays.com, trusted by pros, monitored by the books. Stay ahead of the line. AI plays up 50 units. SharpPlays.com.
Well, we have some breaking news in college football. The Michigan Wolverines have fired their head coach. How about that?
That's a stunner.
That is, wow. Only 2 years after Harbaugh left, won the national championship.
Yeah, went 18-8, 9-3 this year, finished 18th in the rankings.
Beat Ohio State last year.
Uh-huh.
And done, we'll see you later. Is there somebody out there that they've talked to that has interest in the job, and they're like, yeah, we spent $12 million on Underwood, our quarterback, so we have the funds here. We got the backing. Let's go get the best coach that we can.
There was problems with the offense, no doubt, but that's a quick trigger. And also, I can't kill him if he loses to the defending champs and just how good they are. But upon further inspection, when you look at this, you played Oklahoma, good team, lost. You beat Nebraska, but whoop-de-doo. You lost to USC. What's their best win? Washington at home? That might be their best win. So that's where we're at with that. 2 years.
It was for cause.
Oh.
It was for cause, what we're hearing now.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Then that eliminate what we just said then.
Yep. All you had was
there you
just
go.
A report from Schefter. Thamel's got it with cause?
Yep. He's been terminated with cause, effective immediately. Following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member.
Okay.
He gets fired. Jim Harbaugh, though, nothing happened after they had all those allegations for how long? Before they won the national title?
This is like another Udoka situation.
Yep.
Well, you still didn't get the whole story, what happened there.
Okay,
and
well,
how ugly that got.
I mean, that program is what, Paul? At the top of your head, top what program in the country? 8 to 10?
Yep.
Okay. So you should be able to get any person that you want for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They should.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, warped mind here. I'd love to see Urban Meyer take it.
Come on.
That'd be amazing. Because that guy has the scruples to do that. Saban out of retirement?
Could this get wonky? Oh, jeez. Could this get wonky? Like college basketball? Where it's like a guy doesn't even start there and takes another job? With what happened? With the Chris Beard thing that happened out here? He was the coach for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it went to Texas Tech.
Interesting.
Or something can happen where it's like someone has made, okay, I'll go to this school. Oh, well, now Michigan's open. Let me do a U-turn.
Now, did you see this thing from Troy Aikman? I saw it on X last night.
Yes, I have his back.
That's all confirmed?
Yes.
That
the player's got to be Dante Moore.
Well, so to explain the story here, Troy Aikman basically said that I gave one person at UCLA NIL money. That was it. Only one person. And it was a hefty check is what he said. Eventually, after 1 year, this player decided to leave. Never once even got as much as a thank you. Nothing. Zero.
Yep, right.
Zippo. And Aikman just said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to do it ever again. That one player ruined it for me. And like you said, now everybody's pointing to, well, it's got to be Oregon quarterback Dante Moore. So how many times is that going to happen? The problem is here,
Sure.
When these players are going to get X amount of money, there has to be a contract involved. Again, we're still in the early years of this happening. So the structure has never really been in place. But that's how these programs have to look at it. Like, we're going to sign you to a contract. And if we give a player $2 million or whatever it is, hey, pal, like, you're staying here until you, like, are done playing college football. That's it. Like, you're not going to go anywhere else. You can't break that. So, like, that's going to have to happen here. I can't believe they never really thought about it yet or, you know, to begin things.
The UNLV story with the quarterback last year.
That's right.
And then Derek Stevens wanted to get involved in what happened. All right, that's it. I'm going to transfer. We're having a good year, but I was promised this, according to the source, and to the kid, and it was disputed, and on he went.
Mm-hmm. Well, at the very top of the list now, Michigan's going to have to be pretty much the number one destination for any of these jobs. Another person that comes to mind is Freeman from Notre Dame, but first of all, he's only going to leave Notre Dame, I think, for an NFL job.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? And Notre Dame is elite already, so that's not going to happen. But this is not a spot where Michigan can just settle. They have to hit this higher out of the ballpark. And this is a big one now, obviously.
Poor timing, though, too. Never good timing, but a lot of these guys have already moved on in what's happened.
Yeah.
But that's why what I mentioned earlier, if someone can change their mind and something happens here, well, let me go to Michigan now that's open.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of these unbalanced schedules now. that's going to also play a factor into, the 12-team playoff overall. Well, how come this Team A didn't play anybody, and they won 11 games and they're in? Team B played an absolute meat grinder of a schedule, but they have 3 losses, so they're not in. It's going to have to come the way of like college basketball at some point when you look at the overall body of work. Sal Paolantonio on the program next. He'll explain how the Eagles and Raiders have basically been the same team for more than a month, and a deeper dive into Phillies issues coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.